Hey everybody, it's Mike from Fishing the Mid-South, and I think I'm going to title this The Quest for the Perfect Pompano Rig, probably part one. So we'll start off with what we know doesn't work. So I'm going to use 100-pound mono here. Clearly, that's not what we'd be using to make these knots, but I want to explain what knots we've already eliminated. So the big one is what everybody uses, and it's called the dropper loop. So basically what you do is you create a loop in your line, like so. And then you basically hold both ends and you twist these around each other for 3 or 4 full turns or 6 or 8 half turns, whatever. And you're left with this hole in the middle where you've been twisting. And you take the single end of the loop and you run it through there. And then you tighten all this up. The testing I've done on that knot has been absolutely abysmal. The strength is less than half of the actual line strength. So now what we're going to be looking at is the surgeon's loop and extra variations of. So the surgeon's loop is basically you double your line over, like so, and then you make a loop here, and you take the end of it and you run it through there 2 to 5 times. So 2 is actually what they call the surgeon's loop. So it ties down like so. But I'll name it the double surgeon's loop because I'm also trying different numbers of twists as well. So I have some 2 twists, I have some 3 twists, I have some 4 twists, and some 5 twists. So we're going to start with the 2 twist. This is 20-pound Berkley Big Game Mono. Make sure I did in fact get the 2 twists. Yep, 2. And on each end of each test piece, I have the double surgeon's nut, or surgeon's nut loop. And then I have gone through the swivels. So when you're done, you have that loop at the end. So you take the loop. And this would normally go into your hook, but I don't like hooks flying around the room. So you press it together, put it through the eye of the hook, or in this case the swivel, and bring it back around and pull it like that, and you end up with a cow hitch. So we're going to go ahead and do 5 test pulls on each of these. I'm trying to make sure that I have both ends pulled down so that the knot is right there at the edge of the swivel. And here we go with test number 1. Again, this is 20-pound Big Game Mono. The line itself tests out to about 28 pounds of strength before the line breaks. So we got to 19 pounds. And let's take a look. Okay, so this is the tag end that was coming off, so the knot broke right at the edge of this loop. So the loop is now detached. And there we go. So there's failure piece number 1. Put my little baggie of stuff here so that actually kind of have my waste pile here, so I don't get stuff confused with where and everything. Okay, so we'll bring it back and we'll come back with test number 2. So 19 is actually quite respectable. Again, it's 20-pound mono, test out to about 28 pounds breaking strength for the line. But in the past, I've had results that are kind of all over the map. So I'm just fixing the hitch knot here, the cow hitch, to make sure that it's not down here at the bottom of the swivel, but actually comes back to the top of the swivel loop itself. Okay. So we'll zero this one out and we'll go for test pull number 2. 21.5. We'll look at this, and so there's both ends of this knot. So that's not what failed. Let's check over here. Okay, so this knot also, you can see this is the tag end here, and then you can see where the knot started coming. It popped and then started coming undone. 21.5, not a bad showing. This one's a little longer than I would like, but we should have enough length in the puller to get results out of it. Sure, yep, the thin's good. And get this cow hitch knot in the right spot. And zero it out, and here we go. $16.7. And pop this around. So there's both ends, the tag end and the standing end. So that wasn't the failure point. And the failure point here was where it entered the knot, because that's our tag end there. And if I can get these two separated, yeah, so it just pulls right apart, as expected would happen with that. And we'll bring this back for pull number 4. Again, this is the surgeon's loop, or I'll call it the double surgeon's loop, because it has the double knot in there. Goes around twice. Okay. This will be test number 4. $15.5. And the knot broke right here at the end of this side. There's your tag end, and then it has come free there. And this will be test pull number 5, our last one for the double surgeon's loop. And you can see I've got a defective swivel there, but it should last through this test without a problem. These are size 3 eagle claw hooks, or not hooks, swivels. So this one's just a little on the short end. That's okay. We got all the tensions removed there. Test pull number 5. 22.2. So this actually broke on this end of the knot here. You get the tag end, but the standing end is gone. So that takes care of 2 twists. And this is going to be our 3 twist group. Get them all poured out here. And make sure our cow hitch knots are good. Snugged up in the right area of the swivel. So we don't want that to be the failure point. And test pull number 1 on the 3-turn, or the triple surgeon's loop. 19.7. And there's a standing end and tag end on this side, and there is the tag end on that side, and you can see that the knot, again, popped. The expectation is that the knot will be the failure point on all these, but we want to make sure that we didn't have a nick in the line or something that would have caused a problem. is another one of those that's a little on the snug side. Have to get it on the hook, and then I don't have any pressure. Test pull number 2. 16.5. Again, there's the tag end and no standing end, so the knot was the failure point again. Try to make sure I've got those cow hitches in the right spot. And we'll zero it out. Test pull number 3. $17.0. So there's tag end and standing end, so that one's good. And then there's the tag end, and then the standing end was broken right there. So again, the knot was the failure point. This one's going to be a kind of a long one. And zero that out. Test number 4. $26.9. These outliers always get to me. It's like, well, why can't they all be like that? And there again, the knot failed. Because if I could get them all like that, I'd be a happy guy. We wouldn't be doing any more of these tests because we'd have a really good knot. Get the cow hitches straightened out. Said I'd get it straightened out and then didn't. I can do this 100 times off camera and never have a problem. As soon as you go on camera, something goes sideways. Okay, this will be test pull number 5 on the triple surgeon's loop. $18.7. And again, we broke at the knot. Okay, so that gets us through two and 3 twists. Now we've got the 4 twist batch coming. Or the quadruple surgeon's knot, or whatever you want to call it. Get these hitch knots straightened out. When I put all these together, the hitch knots were straight, but then they had time to relax in there, and the knot relaxed as well. Here we go with test pull number 1 on a quadruple surgeon's knot. 17.9. And there's the failure point. We have the tag end, but not the standing end. So now there's no pressure on there. We'll go for test number 2. 19.2. And then we have the standing end, or the tag end, but not the standing end. So the knot again was the failure point. Again, that is expected. That's what we're going for. We're trying to find the weakest spot, which pretty much should always be the knot. We'll try this without fixing that hitch knot and see if it causes any problems. Save us a little time here. 17.9. And there's the standing end and the tag end, and then there's the standing end right there that you can see is already coming unraveled, so the knot failed there. So we'll just avoid playing with the hitch knots at all. Okay, and here is test number 4. .4. And again, there's the tag end, but not the standing end. It's another failure of the knot. And here we go with test number 5. 17.9. And there's a tag end, but no standing end, so the knot failed on that one as well. And that takes us down to our final group, which is the 5 wrap, whatever you want to call it. So we went through and we looped it around 5 times under there. Get this set up for the first pull. Zero it out, and here we go. .2. And as you can see there, the knot failed again. Pull number 2. And 19.0. And you can see the knot broke. There's a tag end, but no standing end. Test pull number 3. 16.0. And there's the tag end, no standing end. So that was again the failure point. Test pull number 4. .1. And there was the failure point of the knot again. This one I'm going to need every millimeter of length I can get. No jokes, please. So I'll make sure that these hitch knots, these cow hitch knots, are as far up as they can possibly go. I'm still going to have to take this off so that I can get it around the hook. Zero it out. There's really no tension on that. And test pull number 5. 15.9. And there's the side of the knot that failed. So, what does this tell us? Well, let's see. If we try to average in my head, so our best was 26.9, and our worst on this set was 16.5. This one was 15.5, and 22.2 was the best. We had a 21.4 and 17.9. So figure out which one you want to choose there. And the low here was 15.9 and the high was 20.2. So 2 loop, 3, 4, and 5. So with 2, just the regular surgeon's loop, 15.5 was the low, 22.5 was the high. With 3, we had 16.5 for the low, 26.9 for a high. Now that 26.9 is going to skew the results, obviously. It's also the best number we got overall. On the 4 loop things, 4 rounds on the knot, the low was 17.9 and the high was 21.4. So, I mean, we're right there at the 18.5, 19, maybe even a little higher average. And then on the 5, we had a low of 15.9 and a high of 20.2. So 4 is clearly the winner on this. So if we want to do Pompano rigs where we're going to use 20-pound big game mono, a lot of people do use fluorocarbon. Fluorocarbon is extremely wiry to me, but I did test some 10-pound fluorocarbon, the Berkeley Vanish, and it did not do well with the dropper loop type knot either. So that's going to give us almost the rated strength of the line, which is 20, the advertised length or strength, not the overall strength. So we're still, you know, even if we can round all that up to 20 with a little work, and we can't, but almost 20, you know, we're still just above 2/3 of the actual line strength. Not bad. And so we have to kind of test every part of this, the whole rig, right? So we need to test the strength of the knots. We need to test the strength of the line. We need to make sure that we're using the right strength swivels on those. And then the hooks. That's one that's going to be interesting to me. It doesn't matter, you know, if we're going to use size 1, 1/0, or 2/0 hooks, and the hook starts bending into oblivion at 15 pounds, it doesn't matter how strong the knot is. The fish is gone because of the hook. Or, you know, if your swivel was, you know, pops at 10 pounds, for instance. So this is really just step number 1 in building the best Pompano rig, or a better Pompano rig, maybe. I have another trick up my sleeve that we'll talk about on another video, but this goes over the surgeon loop both in 2, 3, 4, and 5 loop knot. I don't know what you want to call that. Goes around 2, 3, 4, and 5 times. 4 is the standout winner on that. So that's what we'll be talking about going forward as we do more testing. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. Please do like, subscribe, and all that fun stuff that makes YouTube happy. I appreciate you guys watching. And while these are for Pompano rigs, again, the double dropper loop is actually used in catfishing with heavier lines. So we'll need to test this with heavier lines as well. But right now we're working on the Pompano rig. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time.